name is Brandon Groce. And we are the Game Changers. Designers, creatives alike. We are in a world that runs on value. Our next designs will be the shiniest. Our next animation will be the most buttery. Ladies and gentlemen, Game Changers, let the games begin.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Editor X Live. I'm super excited to have you guys for our second month of challenges. I'm beyond excited to be doing this. We got a lot done our first month and we did a lot of refinements. You guys asked a lot of great questions. We learned a lot of things in regards to what type of content you guys want to see. But more importantly, you guys are here and I'm here. Guys, my name is Brandon Groce, your host for Editor X Live, if I haven't already said that. But I'm excited to see you guys. May, Dima, Arif, glad to see you guys in the chat. And anybody else in the chat, please let me know how you guys are doing, how your weekend was, and if anything else that you're excited about this week, let us know and drop it in the chat. So with that said, today is the very first day of our 2-week live streams. If you guys watched our first month, you guys know that the first day is our welcome stream. We are talking all about what to expect in our challenges, how to join, how to submit your work, and how you guys can win some really cool prizes for participating in the challenges, on top of some very fundamental and base level information you guys in knowledge and tool usage you guys need to know for how to use Editor X for the remaining of our challenges that we'll be doing throughout the next 2 weeks. So with that said, what I want to start off with this welcome stream is, for those of you guys who are not familiar with these challenges, let us know in the chat if you guys have not used Editor X at all, if you're brand spanking new, or if you're a veteran. With that said, let's actually move to my screen, because if you guys are brand spanking new, you're watching this on YouTube during the replay, or you guys are brand new to the challenges, do make sure these challenges are all to help skill up in being able to use Editor X and create responsive and interactive websites with zero code. So with that said, if you haven't already created your account, a free account for Editor X to start joining us or creating really awesome responsive websites, do go to editorx.com. Go to start now and sign up absolutely free to join us with our challenges and also make some really cool things on your own time. With that said, DJ Resolution says, I'm eating ice cream. My friend, I too. Share some with me, or at least save some. With that said, good to see you, DJ Resolution. And with that said, first thing, sign up. Now let's talk a little bit about how, if you haven't already, how to sign up for the challenges if you guys are seeing this for the first time, and how to participate, what's expected. So let me go ahead and move to my next explanation. So, and by the way, you guys can find the link in the description if you haven't already signed up for Editor X. Super easy. Charles says, still learning Editor X, but getting better with your help. My friend Charles, that's awesome. We're gonna do more of that in the next 2 weeks, so I'm excited to hear that. By the way, I do want to let you guys know that yes, today's the welcome stream. Throughout the rest of the 2 weeks, we'll be doing not only live streams, but this is the perfect time for you guys to ask questions. And we'll talk a little bit about our Discord, because we love getting millions of questions, because it helps us make our content better and helps you guys get better in Editor X, which is our mission. So if you guys haven't already signed up, which basically puts all of our live streams on your calendar and gives you reminders so you don't have to think about when we go live, the link is down in the description. It is a Luma link. We will be moving away from this in the future. But like this says, today, March 28th, is when we're starting, while you're here, and we're going all the way to April 8th. Now, a little bit more details on how to join. If you haven't already, the biggest thing here is you want to join our Discord. This is where everybody that is going to be working alongside you with these challenges is going to be. This is where we're announcing all the cool things, the winners, the prizes, and giving announcements for all cool upcoming things and events. This will be in Discord. You have access to me, other cool creatives, and the Editor X team. On top of that, what will be happening during these next 2 weeks is you'll receive a challenge each and every day with designer starter files. What that means is each challenge will have and accompany a design starter file. So in particular, we're starting off with giving you guys an Adobe XD file that has all the assets, all of the colors, everything that you guys need to help build along with us in each challenge every single day. On top of that, we do also, if you don't use Adobe XD, we do have a folder for you that has all the assets that you can use for each challenge, making your life a little bit easier. On top of that, we can join here each and every day during the 2 weeks. We will be live at 1 p.m. EST each and every day to share a challenge with you guys and to work through the challenges with you. On top of that, finally, what we'll be talking about is how you can share your work in our Discord, and we'll talk about that in just a little bit. And on top of that, the prizes. This is the thing that a lot of people had questions about. How does this work? How do I get points? How do I know I'm going to win? So with that said, how we are doing points is we really want everybody to be in as many challenges as possible. So what we're doing is we are giving 1 point. Actually, let me just read this. This is better. The best submitted designs will earn each designer 1 point for each challenge. After the 2 weeks of challenges, the EditorX team and myself will tally up the points for each designer who submitted their work throughout the weeks and declare one designer who is the highest number of points for the overall winner of the challenges. So essentially you get 1 point for each submission that you send in for each challenge. So if you're here for all 10 days of the challenge, or excuse me, 9 days, and you submit 9 challenges, that's already 9 points. So we're looking for participation and amazing work as well. And on top of that, what the prize is, this is Lisa. This was last month's winner. She got all of the awesome EditorX swag that we promised her, and we're looking forward to having some really cool prizes in the future. But we're talking all EditorX swag. She got a hoodie, water bottle, socks, stickers, things of that nature, and we're super excited to have her post on Instagram about how much she learned during these 2 weeks, and she got some pretty cool stuff out of it as well. So with that said, let's talk a little bit about what we're going to learn for the next 2 weeks. Great, Brandon. My mouth is a little dry from telling you guys just the basic information, but let's talk about some of the things that we are going to be working on for the next 2 weeks. So in this list, we essentially have the entire 10 days of what it is that we're doing, and I also have some examples for you so you guys get some eye candy. So of course, today is the welcome day. This is getting started with EditorX, what to expect for the next 2 weeks, how to get started in EditorX if you're brand new, and starting tomorrow is when we get into our challenges. So we have them themed by feature. Day 2, tomorrow, we are focusing on grids only for 30 minutes. And we're going to be building a crypto landing page. Day 3, we're going to be focusing solely on responsivity of a website. We're going to be designing an NFT marketplace homepage. Day 4, hover interactions, designing an interactive section. Day 5, we're going to be focusing on stacks, building an e-commerce furniture store. Day 6, using masters. Day 7, more animations. Day 8, we're creating a unique 3D interactive button. Day 9, custom e-commerce layout. And day 10, we're using repeaters and data sets. So each day we're going to get more and more complex. And really that's how these challenges are built. So everybody each day, regardless of your skill set, you get a little bit of something. So with that said, without just reading words, because words are special, at least for me, let's actually look at some stuff, guys. Let me pull up what we have. Okay. So this is tomorrow. This is tomorrow's challenge for grids. We are going to be making, the moon is made of pancakes. Okay. And we are focusing just on the desktop version, how to put together this website just using grids. We're also going to be working on, this is day 2, this is specifically responsivity, how to get a website go from desktop all the way to mobile and make it look divine, okay? And what's necessary for that. I believe this is day 3, but essentially this is how to get this sort of effect without really any code. There's no code in this. And so we're gonna be putting together just a little bit of a challenge to kind of create something like this. We have animations here, nice little intro animation to a website. How can we create something like this? And again, this is our little 3D button here, just as an example. This is working with masters and a little bit of animation just so we can figure out how to create websites of this manner and utilize masters throughout a site so that we can cut down the redundancy of just work. We make something once and we can put it on every single page. That's the use of a master. So that's just a little bit of eye candy, just a little bit of the things that is what it is that we are going to work on throughout the next 2 weeks. Let me know if you guys are interested in that. And if you are, please do not forget to smash the like button and subscribe if you haven't. All right, we got through all of our house cleaning items. Adrian is in the chat going, hey, all right, cool. So now with that said, we have a good 20 minutes to talk about Editor X, starting out brand spanking new. And again, if you guys did just come in, please let me know in the chat. Put 1 in the chat if you are brand spanking new to Editor X, and put 2 in the chat if you are vaguely familiar and if you've done the challenges before. Actually, I might do let me do a poll real quick. What's going on, Ramiro? Glad to have you. All right. Just popped in a poll. I think that's probably a lot easier than you guys putting 1 or 2 in the chat. All right, so let's talk a little bit about how to start off with Editor X. We're starting basic. Okay, if you're brand new to Editor X and you have signed up, how this works is you will come to a dashboard just like this that's called My Sites. And you will have a button here called Create New Website. So we're starting from scratch, guys. This is just for people, for starters who have no to basic, barely any knowledge in Editor X. Adrian says, 2, always learning though, my friend. Yes. So we come to this next question. Which platform do we want to use? Obviously, we want to use Editor X. And what we're going to just talk about is like the layout. What are these different bars? What is the inspector? How do we, where is everything located? Okay. How do I speed up the process if I don't want to make something from scratch? So what Editor X first asks us is they want to help us build a site better from the beginning of just from the beginning. So it asks what kind of website do you want to create, and from here it kind of pushes you in a direction of here are some templates, here are some things that you might want to consider to help you build your site a little bit faster. And you can pick, from business, online store, music, design, basically the theme of your website that you so desire. We're just going to skip this for now. And we're just going to take a look at some of the templates. Again, this is Editor X. What I love, you can either use the templates to help build something quickly, or you can start from scratch. And that's what we're focusing on in the next 2 weeks these 2 weeks of challenges. The whole goal of these challenges is to help you guys understand the fundamentals, the basics, so that you guys, whether you want to use templates or not, you master the Editor X platform and can make anything that your heart desires just by mastering the fundamentals of the platform. No code involved. So with that said, we have a couple of, for those of you who have never been in Editor X before, we have a whole bunch of templates that we can use. Obviously, there's the blank canvas, but there is fintech company template, there is a product landing page or a product site template, and I love gaming, guys, so I'm just going to utilize this. We're going to just go and hover over this, and we're going to click edit, and we're just going to take a look at things. We're not going to focus on the template itself. I just want to let you guys know that this is an option, what it looks like, what happens, and then we're going to focus on the fundamentals. So we get brought to the template page. Everything is editable. We can change text, we can change colors, all of this. Now, again, like I said, we're going to be focusing on the fundamentals in a blank page. We're going to show you where everything is, master that. But I want you guys to know that the templates, even though some people have a idea of like, oh, I'm kind of boxed in when it comes to templates, not at all. The fact is that these templates give you a nice framework to work with, and what you'll be learning in the next 2 weeks is really just how much faster you'll be able to work with the really nice themed templates that they have. But if you don't want to deal with the templates, you know how to make everything on your own. But everything is editable. You can move things. I just love the frameworks and the help that Editor X has if we want to move a little bit faster. But with that said, we're gonna just go to, I just wanted to show you guys the templates. We didn't want to go too deep. Let's move into a blank project. So I'm gonna, just like I did with the gaming, I'm gonna go to edit, click, I'm gonna close this. And now let's talk about just where things are in the EditorX platform. So I have a blank page I am left here with, and I'm gonna open some things up. We're gonna go step by step, and I'm gonna do a time check here. We got 15 minutes. Perfect. And by the way, if I am going too fast, because there is a lot to cover in this, day one, I want you guys to know what's happening, when it's happening, how to get involved, and things of that nature. So with EditorX, we have a couple things that I want you, the main fundamentals. We have this section over here of icons, and we'll go over what that is. And we have another important section here called the inspector. And we'll talk about what is in each. So over here, we have the add elements button. This is everything from, quick adding elements like titles, paragraphs, buttons, images, video boxes, video players, galleries, containers. We'll talk about this a little bit more tomorrow, layouters, and repeaters. And there's some other things, but we don't need to go that deep just yet. What's going on, NFD? Good to see you. Non-fungible. What is happening, my friend? I see you're here for tomorrow's episode and Wednesday's episode for NFTs. So what we are going to do here is we also have assets. This is all of our things. For me in particular, these are the assets that I have saved from other projects so that I can, for example, drag them into new projects. So this was, you guys saw this for the Lego project that we are working on later in the week. I can drag my assets out here, and it is basically a perfect section that I have saved from another project that I can pull into other projects. And one thing I do want to say is that EditorX is very much, okay, so I'm glad you guys, 62% of you guys are familiar. Good to know. So now that you guys are really going to want to be here starting tomorrow. We have, and since the majority of you guys are familiar, you guys know kind of what's happening. So we have the assets panel, we have the compositions. This is what we'll talk about just a little bit. This is basically, think about it as if templates are full websites of that EditorX allows us to use. Compositions are essentially like the puzzle pieces of templates. So for example, how this is designed essentially for us, compositions gives us different section types. So there's welcome sections, there's about sections, there's service sections, there's team sections. And just like I did with my assets, we can utilize different types of section template puzzle pieces, as I call them, to, for example, if we're gonna do we need a welcome section or, hero for our website. We can just drag this in, replace the section, and we can just edit this. We can change the image, we can change the text, we can change the button, things of that nature. The main things that I want you guys to understand are from today are the assets, because we'll be using that in every project, the compositions, and really everything else in media. That is about it. Those are the three things that we'll be utilizing from a fundamental standpoint throughout the next 2 weeks, and just going deep into those things. So with that said, let's talk a little bit about some of the other pieces here. So we have this section here that we just pulled out, and we have a couple of selectable elements, and now you guys see that we have some data here. Before we jump into that, I do want to talk about two particular things outside of add elements. So what you guys need to know is add elements, our layers panel, and then we're going to discuss our inspector, and we're going to kind of change some things here so you guys can see how it works. So first off, our layers. Let's minimize this, okay, or just close this section. You guys, if you're all designers, you are very familiar with layers. You guys have used Sketch, Adobe XD, you guys use Figma. You guys know how layers works. And if not, this layers panel, we're gonna go over right now. So we have three major folders or sections. We have our header here. As you can see, it's highlights. We have our footer, and we have the main section that we pulled out from our add elements. So how this works, you can think about them as folders. I'm gonna open up the header, and we see we have a hidden hamburger menu. We're not gonna worry about that right now. We have our menu here. As you guys can see that this is pulled off. And let me see here. There we go. We have this menu item here, and we have a vector art SVG for our logo. So it's basically just like layers in any design software. You have a main folder and you have assets or elements within that folder. In our section, we can see the same thing. We have a stack of content. We have text accompanied with two buttons that are within a container separated. So we have a stack. Inside that, we have the main top piece. It is our H1. And we have a container underneath that is split into two grids, or excuse me, one grid with two sides, a left and a right. And we'll go into more detail about the grids. We don't have enough time to really dive into everything today. I just want you guys to understand, for those of you who are brand spanking new to EditorX, especially those watching the replay, where everything is, how to operate elements, and that's it. We're gonna go into deep detail for things like grids, responsiveness on the actual days. So for those of you guys who are familiar, you guys are probably like, Brandon, we know these things. Yes, and you guys will get a lot of value for the days coming after today, but I'm glad you guys are here. So containers, this is, as you guys can see, there is a grid layout here. I've clicked it and you guys can see this is a 2x1. And in that grid, we have a learn more button to the left and we have a contact us button to the right. We'll talk more about grids, like I said, tomorrow. And within this section, we have an image back here. And if you guys can see this, watch. So I can move this image above our stacks, just like this, just like in any sort of design program. This is what I really like about EditorX. You do not have to deal with zeros and ones like in other WYSIWYG platforms or no-code platforms. You very much can interact with EditorX as if it is a design program. I can also freely drag my elements on the actual editable website itself. I don't have to go in and type numbers in and get it positioned. So with that said, let's start talking about this next element over here, this inspector. Okay, I'm going to Control Z very quick and just get this back to the center, and let's talk about how we can edit elements. So we've talked a little bit about our layers. We've talked about how to add elements. For example, just another quick example of how you can add things to a web page. So with our quick add, we can add different buttons. I literally can just drag them out. I can add different shapes. And now let's talk about if I wanted to change the color of these shapes. I'm going to change this triangle. I'm going to change this star into, we'll change it to a plus. Add to page. There we go. I'm going to put it in a place where I can actually see it. And now let's make some design changes to this. So now I'm going to go to my inspector. What the inspector is basically like in any other design program, your right-hand bar is what allows you to edit elements. So what you'll see here is we have a couple things. We have a layout tab, we have a design tab, and these other tabs we will talk about later in the 2 weeks of content. Okay, so right now we're just going to focus on these two things. We have our layout. This is very much, these are our adjustment tools. You guys are probably very familiar with this, again, from if you're familiar with design tools. I can align this piece of, or this cross or this plus, I can align it to the left of my section. I can align it to the center of my section, the top, the bottom, the center, and the right. Pretty standard. I'm gonna leave this, I'm gonna just drag this back to where it was, right here. And we're gonna change, like you guys have seen here, there's two ways of editing things, right? I can either close my inspector and I can scale, push, pull, contract my assets. Same thing with the button here. I literally can just drag the size that I want. Or I can, as you guys can see here, there's two settings here for size. You have a fixed, which means basically tell me or tell EditorX in pixels how large you want this asset. So right now it is 190 pixels, or we can tell it to scale this asset based on the percentages that we give EditorX. So, and we'll talk about this more when we get to responsiveness, but fixed is basically like, hey, this asset, this element will be 190 pixels all the time. Whereas fluid, basically what this is saying is we will keep this asset 10.6% of the section width all the time. So it will actually scale as the viewport or as the width of the website changes. And just to showcase that, I can scale this here, and you guys can see that the plus actually gets smaller. Whereas if I switch to fixed, the plus will stay the same size. You guys see? So a little bit of a distinction there. And again, I know that last month there was a lot of questions on fixed and fluid and really wanting a full day on just responsiveness. So we're giving that to you guys very soon, in 2 days. So stick around if you guys really want responsiveness. So we have width, we have height. We can say we want this to be 900. Height is pretty much, like I said, pretty standard and relatively similar to design platforms. So the next thing is position. There was a lot of questions about docking. Which is really important. A lot of you guys were curious about, how does docking work? What does it mean? And to keep things simple, what this means, I'm going to delete pretty much everything but the background image here. And I'm going to stick with my plus. And before we actually go into position, I do want to make this plus. I want to go ahead and make this a pink. So what I've done here is I went from my layout tab, I went to my brush or my design tab, and we have opacity and color. This is where I can control my color and obviously the opacity of the element itself. So I can send it to 0, 100. I can give it a border. I can give it a shadow if I want to, so on and so forth. So now let's talk about docking. So what this means is, again, it has to deal with responsiveness, okay? So if I want, for example, to have this cross to always be in the center of the section that it is within. So we have our section, and within our section we have our basic shape or our plus. And I can rename this just like this, plus. Just double click, plus. And now what you'll see in docking is the center is filled in, the center circle. What that means is that the plus is docked to the center. So if we are going to squeeze our website, our plus will always stay there, right? It'll always stay in the center. Now, if we decide to right align it, if you guys see this, docked to the right. What this means is, as we as the site is responsive, that plus will always stick to the right-hand side. And so on and so forth. So, let me see something here. Same thing if we put it to the bottom. This is the bottom right-hand corner. It will dock to the right and the bottom, so that it's basically telling EditorX, always stay in that corner. So that's pretty much the fundamentals of docking. Obviously, this is a fundamental principle, but we will be doing more complex things as the weeks progress. This today is purely to get everybody on board as to what's happening for the next 2 weeks, how to join, and things of that nature. So before we close out today, we have 1 minute. We're going to close out with how to join our Discord, how to make sure you get verified in our Discord and make sure you're seeing the entire channel. Please do let us know in our Discord if you have any questions. Please let us know just in general about EditRx. Please leave them in our Discord so we can, it just helps us create better content in the future and be prepared to answer those questions throughout our challenges for the next 2 weeks. So we're gonna switch gears here and we are gonna go to our Discord. So again, links in the description if you guys, like I said, if you wanna join our challenges, if you haven't already, do join our Discord. The link is in the description. It will bring you to basically when you join, you'll be asked, the first thing you'll see is welcome, get verified. And essentially what this is asking you to do is just agree to our community rules and guidelines. You can go to, and then we give you a link, you'll go to rules, read through this, just make sure that you are not doing any no safe for work things, you're not spamming, and just be nice. You'll hit agree and the entire channel will open up to you and you'll be able to access everything. There's 3 main channels that you'll be using. One is our weekly challenges. This is when we tell you guys when we're going live, how to submit your challenges, and next steps either for the challenge of today or how to prepare for the next challenge. We also have our feedback section, which is where you will be submitting your challenges. We have, after each session, we will share with you guys in this channel how to really submit your work. We'll give you guys a little bit of a script for you guys to copy and paste, and really just copy and paste your URL in the Discord to share with everybody. As you guys can see here, you can also feel free to scroll through and see how people have done in the past, see past work, and things of that nature. And most importantly, we have a Ask a Question channel. We love this channel because every time someone asks a question, there's a whole little, what are these called? There's a thread that is created, and we make sure to get to your questions. I make sure each and every day that there's a question asked that I actually create a screen recording helping you guys overcome the challenges that you have for the challenges and just outside of the challenges in general. So our Discord is our main value proposition on top of the challenges to help you guys in EditRx overcome the wall or overcome the obstacles that you guys come up against. So please take advantage of Ask a Question. We are getting more mentors from the EditRx side to come on in and help you guys with some of the challenges that you have with the platform and just to answer your questions. And also, don't forget to introduce yourself, and that's about it. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, I am super excited to have you guys for the next 2 weeks. Tomorrow we are going to be here, same time, same place, 1 p.m. EST, working on grids, working on a crypto landing page. So with that said, I'm super excited. If you haven't already, please do not forget to like this video, subscribe, and also please sign up for EditRx if you haven't already. I'll see you in our Discord, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you so much, Adrian, Ramiro, NFD, Arif, and Dima, and May for hanging out, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you guys so much for hanging out, and see you then. Have a great day. Peace.